In this video, we're going to be doing something that I've been promising for a long time now. We're going to real quick make a whole bunch of rosemary plants. A bunch of them, folks. So join me. Here we go. Hi, I'm Bowtie Dave. So good morning and welcome to Bowtie Life. I'm Bowtie Dave, as you can tell by my name tag, and appreciate y'all coming along to join me on this adventure. I've never done this many before. There's 18 cells in each one of these trays, and we have 3 trays. So whatever 3 times 18 is, that's a whole bunch of plants that I would like to try to start today. We're going to be trimming off the ends of rosemary, just totally wholesale, and we will be hopefully getting a whole bunch of rosemary plants. Last time I did this, I only did about 10 or 15, and I gave those rosemary plants away for like 2 years. And so I can do this. I'm giving away a lot more these days, but if I can do this, it might be even more than that. So what I'm doing, these are plant trays. Little flowers came in these, but there's 18 cells, and they're good size to leave things growing for a while. Once they get so big, I will be transplanting them into solo cups, but this is just a good way for me to do this kind of wholesale, a whole bunch at a time. And we're going to use this soil to put in here, fill these up. And this is the soil that, right here is our potato bed, our potato pots. And we planted these potatoes just, I don't know, less than 2 weeks ago, and you can see some of these are still already coming up. But this soil is pretty good, obviously, because those potatoes are happy. Now, I do want to say, I am low on every fertilizer I normally have, which is very disconcerting. I am sitting here completely surrounded by no fertilizer, except for a bag of bone meal. Now, this is, in fact, the numbers, 2170. This is the phosphorus, and the phosphorus is actually important for root development, which, if I'm rooting rosemary, that's what I need. Also, the other thing about bone meal, or about phosphorus, it doesn't move through the soil very well. So if I can mix this in ahead of time, just a little bit, it will give these little cuttings a bit of a head start. We're also going to be using some rooting hormone that I have. I don't have it with me at the moment, but I will before we get started. So there is no sponsorship on these. This is just what I happen to have. So we're going to go get a 5-gallon bucket, mix up some of this, and then start filling these trays and see how fast we can go and get right on to the interesting part. So in this soil is a combination of potting soil, used potting soil. There's a little bit of perlite in here. There is sand in here. There is, I just saw a piece of charcoal from the fireplace. There's all kinds of stuff in here. Folks, the key thing is good diversity. This stuff is just really rich. It's not so wet that I can squeeze anything out, and it holds its shape, which is like perfect. So I like using this stuff. There's also roots in here that I pull out because all this soil came out of grow bags. And so I'm going to put probably a full scoop in this bucket. I say scoop, whatever the yogurt container. No, not a full scoop. Half a scoop, that sounds more like it. Again, there's no sponsorship on any of this. I do encourage you to experiment with making your own soil, because number one, it saves you a lot of money. Number two, you have a lot more control over what is in it, and get to know that it is healthy soil. So that is definitely a good thing. So anyway, I'm still pulling some of these roots out. This pile has been here for like a year, so it's not like it's rich in birds dropping things in it like seeds, though there are some. In fact, I can see there's a number of little tiny seedlings right here on the edge. I don't know if the camera's picking that up, but there's a lot of little seedlings in here that couldn't develop simply because it was underneath this tarp. So I'm going to dump the rest of this in here, and I'm going to call that good. So remember, the phosphorus in that bone meal doesn't pass through soil well. So number one, it won't wash out real well. Number two, when I water it. Number two, it's already in there. It's hard to get in the soil as well. if you do it afterwards, so after the fact. So all I'm going to do, and you have seen a million YouTubers do this part, just filling a tray, right? It's another opportunity to pick out big old chunks, but we're not doing seedlings here, we're doing cuttings, which might stop us from poking those starts down into the soil. There's a big old stick. And there's a grub. Woo! Bird food. So rosemary is a really good herb, of course. It does like Mediterranean and drier type environments, but it will survive just about anywhere. My yard gets watered a lot, and so it does very well in my yard, and that makes it just a very good herb to have around. And it also adds flavor. The previous owner of this house that we live in actually told me that he used to take cuttings of rosemary. I think it was him. He would take cuttings of rosemary and stick it in the intake in his air conditioner vent so that it would smell up the house. And that I've experimented with that, but I haven't been successful. There's a nice looking worm. Look at there. He's a little cold this morning. It's not quite 60 degrees, but he'll warm up in a second and disappear in the soil as soon as he wakes up. Oh, I'm so excited about this. This is I've been waiting to do this. I don't know how long I've been promising this. It's probably been, I don't know, 6 months, which is more than a little annoying. Just to add something else to my task of things that I'm trying to get done. Okay. A little more of this stuff, the bone meal. About a quarter of a scoop there. Now, one nice thing about organic fertilizers like this is bone meal. It's ground up bones. One nice thing is this stuff typically will not burn your plants like the chemical stuff can. And so I really prefer these organic options a lot over non-organic options. Number one, for our health. But number two, just because it's good for the plant, it's good for the life in the soil. If we build the life in the soil, we will have a happy, happy garden. Now, I have a fellow here doing an installation, so if we have to get interrupted for a minute, he's going to stick his head around the corner if he needs any help. I am a handyman, so there is precedent for me doing handyman type stuff. And that right there is how simple it is. All right, let's get on with one of the rosemaries. And we're going to talk about the rooting hormone. And so here we are looking at a rosemary. This rosemary has some other things growing up in it, and that's fine. We have the Florida Betony, which we've talked about a few times already, but this is a beautiful looking plant. There's a lot of stuff growing in here, and I'm very excited to be able to pull some cuttings from this thing. Now, our soil is still moist down at the bottom. It's been sitting out here in the sun for a little longer than I intended to, because we went and shot another video between the previous frame and this scene. So the rooting hormone, like I was mentioning, is specially formulated to have these dipped into them when we cut them, and it will help it to grow roots. Now, last time I did this, I did not have rooting hormone, and I still had 50 to 60% success rate. The rooting hormone is nice. It's a marginal gain, folks. It's just like most other things that you're going to hear about. It's a marginal kind of thing that improves. And I'll show you what I'm going to do here. I've got 18 little cells here. I've got my cutters here, and I am going to just kind of pick one of these cuttings they're flexible. They got a nice bit of flex to them. But the thing is, we don't want a very big piece here, folks. We don't want a big piece at all, because this plant has to be able to survive with very little roots and provide sustenance for itself. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm basically going to take about that much, enough to go down in one of these things, and this will be enough leaves to get enough energy down to develop more roots. And the roots will be enough to bring this thing to life. Because we take this thing and just dip it into the hormone, you see it's got a little white on it, and we just stick it in there. That's not very complex, folks. It's really quite simple. Just as simple as that, and we're going to have a new plant. Now, I hear a lot of people talking about, oh, you can only pick pieces that are woody or nice and green or whatever growth, and in all reality, I've never really paid much attention. I just cut off pieces and stick them in the dirt. That's really all I do. They seem to work most of the time, and I haven't really seen that I've had a lot of failure when I do it any other way. But just take that in there, and you can see how fast this is going. It's going pretty fast. But I'm just kind of picking nice long straight pieces. Now that one's got a few little branches. I'm going to have to pull a few of those off. It's okay. We don't want huge pieces because the bigger the top, the more likely it is going to die because it couldn't support the life of that big of a plant. So we want these very small little things. Now, it may look like I'm hurting the rosemary, but frankly, I'm not. The rosemary, every time I cut, is going to break off in 2, 3, 4, or more branches. In fact, there's a branch that I cut right here, right down in here, and on this thing, there's now 4 other branches popping out, and 2 of these have 2 or 3 other branches. So it makes it more bushy when you do this. It helps the plant. It makes it become more robust. And rosemary is definitely a robust plant. Now, frankly, I have very little doubt that some of these things are going to fail. They are, and I know that. So I'm not going to get my hopes set too high on too great a performance. Whatever I get, I'll be happy with. Frankly, if only half of these survive, I still have 25 plants, more than I'm going to use in a very long time. I do plan to add more of these to our own garden because rosemary helps keep away mosquitoes. So I'm hoping that maybe a dozen of these can be added to our own areas. And just like that, we have another 18 plants getting ready to go. Cool thing about this stuff, it doesn't really matter if they start failing. If I see one's failing, all I have to do is come out here, cut another branch, stick it in, and we're off to the races. I can do that endlessly. I have so many plants out here, there really is no limit to how much I can grow. So just to show you a little closer at what we're doing here. So there's a branch. I'm going to bring this up to the camera. Every single place where you see a leaf, every single node is what that's called. Every node has the potential to grow a leaf, to grow a branch, or to grow a root. That's how much these things want to grow. So when I go like this, I've taken off the leaf. Now it's going to decide whether it needs a branch or a root. When it senses that this thing is in the soil and knows that it's in the dark, it will start putting out a root. Now, as far as what these things will grow, if I were to cut this top off like that, right below it here would grow another branch if this were still attached to the plant. A new branch would grow right from where that leaf connects to the node. It would start sending off another branch. It's looking to grow, people. It's looking to become something important. Now, I've already kind of messed that one up. But this plant has so much to cut on it, I could probably fill all 3 trays from this plant alone. And so, of course, my greatest hope is that you saw how easy it really is. And we get stuck, I know I get stuck in analysis paralysis far too often, and I just have a hard time getting some things started. It has been a struggle, like the house renovation that we're doing right now. It has been a struggle to get some of these projects done. The one where I got stuck in the attic, that was a little bit of a mess. But all these took me about 5 minutes a tray to cut, and that is with recording on the camera. You could probably do these in about 3 minutes per tray. Took me about 5 minutes to fill the trays with soil, so we're talking a less than 20-minute task right here to go and get a whole bunch of free, folks, free. Who wants free? Comment below, free. Who wants a free rosemary plant? Well, if you don't, I bet you got a dozen friends that do. And so this is the greatest thing. Of course, the last thing that any plant needs here at this stage, after we've got them all in the soil, is we need to give these plants a good watering. We want the soil to be nice and moist. We're going to keep this soil nice and moist by putting it in a place in our yard where, number one, it will get some shade to ease itself off of the heat of the sun, and it'll get more water every other day or more so that it can stay that nice and moist. And I really am watering these in extremely good because I want every single cell to have plenty of water. And of course, like we said in the beginning, these have the phosphorus in them. All the soil here has the phosphorus, and that phosphorus is important to help with root development. Now later, when I stop being interested in root development, I'm going to be more interested in green leaf development. And so I will be adding some fish fertilizer to this in a few weeks. We don't have to have it right now. I'm a little short on some of my fertilizers like I started with, and so we're going to do what we can with what we've got. Do you think you can do that? Tell me in the comments below if you've done this before, if you're going to do this. Find a rosemary plant in your garden. If you don't have one, find a friend with a rosemary plant, because a lot of times, especially if it's grown as big as that last one that we just did, that actually came from the previous owner of this house. I don't know how old that plant is. I believe it might be 20 years old. It's been growing there for a very, very long time. And I'm so blessed to have it here as a part of our property. So all these things are gonna get started growing, and that's it, folks. Hopefully I will have 54 plants when all these take off. If they don't take off, hey, what's a few dead ones? Even if I get 40 of them, I will be ecstatic. You know those Carolina jasmine that we cut, the yellow ones? There's a symbol here that says, there's a link in the description below. That Carolina jasmine, most of those have come back, probably 80% of them. So that was 17 cells that I think I did, or was it 18? I think about 15 of them are good and growing strong. That's it, folks. We're talking simple job. And go find out how much a rosemary plant sells for at the store. Multiply it times 54, okay? That's the potential that we have here. I don't expect all these to live. It would be nice. I don't expect them all to live, but we'll see what happens. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the garden tours. These are going to be sitting out in the outer garden bed tour. That's the second of 3 parts that I do every single month. And it'll be underneath an irrigation head up underneath the pomegranate trees, right where we ended with on that last big bush. I dare say that most of these will take off and grow strong and become either more plants in our gardens or gifts for friends that might be looking for a rosemary. That's a lot of plants. Wow. I can't believe I did that in under 20 minutes. And that's with recording with the camera. Amazing. So there you have it, folks. Be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss those outer garden bed tours. It'll be near the end of that garden bed tour, and you'll be able to see how these things are doing every single month. The link on the end screen down here in the lower left corner will be the playlist that all the garden tours appear in. So in the future, you can go to that playlist right there and see all of them. And this is April, and we're about to have the April outer garden bed tour recorded in just a couple days. So you'll be able to see it at that very one. It's not going to look much different than this. If you learned something in this, be sure to click the thumbs up on this video. It helps with everything we do in this channel and in our gardens. And be sure to use the Amazon links down in the description below. If you click on one of those links for the next 24 hours, anything you buy on Amazon, we will get a small credit for it. It will not change your price. We just get a fee for it that helps grow things in the garden. There's also a lot of useful stuff down there in that list, so be sure to check it out. Please share this video with a friend that you think might enjoy seeing how easy it is to propagate rosemary. I am just very excited. We do this with so many plants. One of these days I'm going to have thousands of plants everywhere, and I wouldn't be unhappy with about a dozen more of these around the property to get rid of those mosquitoes. Yeah, I'm very excited about it. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you all being here. All those of you who have subscribed, all those of you who have become part of the Bowtie bunch, I appreciate you watching and coming back for more. Y'all really encourage me to keep going and keep making videos like this. Be sure to ask questions in the comments. I love hearing your questions. If you want to share your experience, I love hearing others' experience. I learned so much. Folks, I'm still considering myself a beginner gardener. This will be my 6th successful year of gardening, and I'm still beginning, folks. So be sure to share your experiences in the comments below. Y'all have a blessed day.